So before you start any project, if you've never done landscape lighting before, it might be tough to know exactly where to put the lights. That's one of the reasons we offer our free consultation, because we can kind of give you a good idea, but it's still a really good idea if you haven't had a chance yet. Go to lightingdoctor.ca and go check out our try it before you buy it lights, where basically you can get one of our fixtures and they come with these battery packs. Now, it used to look a little bit different, but the concept's the same. It's a little battery pack, takes 8 AA batteries, and it has a couple alligator clips that you can actually go and test this light out now. So basically all we're gonna do is we're gonna take the two ends of our wire, make sure they're split so that they're not touching, and then we're just gonna go and connect our alligator clips to those wires, and all of a sudden we have a functioning landscape light that now we can go and we can test out on the different features of our home to see how it's going to go look. And if you go do this at night, it'll give you a real good sense and a real good idea for where you're going to position that light, and it'll help reaffirm some of the things that we talk about, where if you point it more at the house, it's going to create a much brighter, more of a hot spot, whereas if you can get it closer and shining more upright, it's just going to nicely graze that house. So you want to go and play with this before you go make anything permanent. It's a great tool, it's easy to use, and it'll allow you to make sure you're getting the right amount of lights and putting them in the right spot before you go commit to a huge project.
Hey, Dickie, first off, I just want to thank you for sending in your pictures and requesting a consultation. You got a beautiful, beautiful home. This is kind of my dream property for landscape lighting, because it's very simple, but you can really make it stand out. I'll show you some ideas. You might not be able to do them just because of some of the concrete work, but I'll give you all the ideas anyway, and you can kind of decide from there. And then from there, if you want me to help you work on building a kit, we can definitely do that. But what I would start with is definitely the front of the house. I mean, you have a beautiful, beautiful home with some beautiful brickwork here that you really, really want to highlight as much as possible. So the way I would do that is I would first start with the whole front section here. I think the way I would do this to balance it most effectively, I mean, in a perfect world, I would probably try and get an accent light. Now, just keep in mind, I'm going to talk about the accent lights, which is these guys here, and I'll just go to, just based on your pictures, I'm guessing you're not in Canada because there's not 3 feet of snow, but our accent lights, like these guys here, work really well for that. And the only thing, because it's that second story, you're going to want to put a higher intensity bulb in there. So we would just put a slightly brighter bulb in there, so it makes sure to get to the second story, because if you just use a standard landscape light that you're going to find on Amazon and all those places, it's not going to do a real good job of getting to the top. So what I would do is I would probably have an accent light kind of at the side of the shutters, in the middle of the shutters, and then I would probably try and get another one. And that's where I'm thinking, you know what, I think you'd almost be better off trying to get it in between the windows. Now the key with this is it looks like these shrubs are probably pretty close, so you might have to get it just behind these shrubs and have it shining pretty straight upwards. And that's where it might be a good idea to try and get one underneath both of the windows, and then another one, if you can, if these shrubs aren't too close, closer to the house, that's shining straight up, because then it's going to do a good job of lighting this middle section. But then that light's going to, because you have the angle, it's still going to catch a lot of the stonework. The reason I wouldn't do where I would typically put one here, here, and here is because anything that you put here, really a lot of that light's going to get lost over here. And I think what you're going to want to do is use one of the standard accent lights, which is the 20 watt equivalent, so not as bright because you don't have to shoot it as high, but actually get it kind of at the base of these pillars and light this entranceway. And I'll show you just kind of a quick example. It's not the best picture of it, but kind of here they've used 2 because your pillars are closer together. I don't think you need to do that. I think you could just have one in the middle. And what that does, it really just makes the entryway more inviting. And the nice thing too is when that light hits that top soffit area, it almost acts as pot lights, and it creates kind of some reflective light, so it helps light up that whole area. So that's probably what I would do, is I would try and get kind of 2 close to the window. If you can get them about 12 inches back from the house and have them shining almost straight up is ideal. If not, bring them a little bit further back. But the biggest mistake I see people do is when they do that, they try and shine it at the house, and then you end up shining it in the window or creating this big hot spot, where if you bring it back a little bit more and have it shining up, you're going to do a better job of getting all the brickwork up here. And then that's especially where if this one in here, you can get it a little closer. Whatever you're going to kind of miss in this area from having those a little bit further back, you're going to catch it with that one. So, and I would do that on both sides. I would do 3 on both sides of the house like that. I would have 2 accent lights on both sides of this front entryway, which I think would look amazing. In a perfect world, I would love to somehow get a light mounted up here that catches this second peak, but I think you're going to have a real tough time hiding wires. So the next thing I would do is I would focus a little bit on this second story, these second story dormers, as well as the second story peak. And how you do that is actually quite simple. You have your long gutter here. You can actually just drop the wire right in there, because all the connections, everything we use is wireproof. It's the best way to hide the wire is actually just drop it right in there. And run your wire up here, and then run it in the gutter, and then you can mount a light here that catches, again, just a standard accent light that catches this dormer, and then another one here that catches this dormer. And then the other thing I would do is I would probably try and mount one somewhere in here and somewhere in here that shines up in this top section. I'll show you kind of an example of here where they've done that a little bit, where they've kind of got those lights placed here, and it really does a nice job of catching that that peak area. Now, they didn't do the top dormers in this one, and I can't remember if I have a picture of where they've done that, but here's an example. You can see where they didn't do that, and it really missed this whole top of the section of the house. Now, it is a little bit more work. I don't love heights, so I don't love doing it, but we do it because it just adds that extra level of lighting that I think you really want to do, especially when you got a great, house like you do with some really nice stonework. I think it would be a shame to miss some of that. From there, you can always add path lighting. I just never like to go overboard with lighting. I think the real showstopper here is going to be just lighting the house. Now, I think you're going to get, even though it's a darker color and it's going to absorb a lot of that light, you're not going to get a lot of reflective light that's going to light this pathway. But if you did want to light that area, what I might do is I might just throw a couple path lights, and whenever I do that, I just try and stagger them in between wherever I have my accent lights. So, for example, say you have an accent light here, and you have one here, and you have one kind of here. I would probably try and maybe put a path light in here and a path light in here, and then you might throw one on the corner here and then one on the corner here. But if you do that, you're probably going to want to throw maybe 2 over here, because the key with lighting is that you want to create balance. If you just put them here, even though I know this is where the pathway is and that's what you're trying to light, it looks a little bit off. And as much as possible, especially on a house, so you can see how it's all symmetrical. Everything on this side looks the same as this side. You want to do the same with lighting, and a lot of people miss that when they're doing a lighting design. So that'll give you some ideas there. So in summary, you're looking at probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the higher intensity accent lights here. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 of the standard ones up here with a gutter mount. And I didn't show you that, but it's actually quite easy to mount those with the gutter. These gutter mounts look like this, and they basically fit right into the gutter, screw to the side of the house, and the fixture screws into there. So again, you run your wire up in the gutter. All the connections are waterproof, so you don't have to worry about that. And then it's an easy way to mount those, and then you can adjust them. And then on the garage side, again, I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to see some lights right in the concrete, here, 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 and probably on this side that shine up. Now, that's probably not going to happen because you're not going to go drill into concrete and everything, but I will give you some other ideas. Something you could do is that same concept of running the wire up here and trying to mount a light here and here to at least catch the second peak. Now, I know you don't have the gutter here, but you could still easily mount that light. Just keep in mind that all the lights have a 1/2-inch thread on them, so you could get any kind of wall mount. And this is where I do have a picture. So something that looks like this, basically that you can just screw to the side of the house, and then the fixture will screw right into there, and that's just a 1/2-inch mount. So you could easily do that. You could still make your connections in the gutter because the lights have a 10-foot lead wire, so you could make your connections in here, and then you just mount it here and you have them shine to catch the second story peak. And then down here, obviously you're probably not going to put concrete lights in here because it's a lot of work having to drill in. So I will give you a concept, and I won't go into too much detail because the video is already getting long, but something like this. kind of these up and down lights where you don't see the light source, but it shines down and it shines up. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to create that same effect as if you were to just put a light at the base that shines up and up. Now the only tough part is you can't do it here, but you could have it cover both of these options. And I mean, you can go buy those kind of fixtures anywhere for line voltage if you wanted to convert these to work with your low voltage system, which is all the other lights that you're going to put in. There's some easy tricks that I can talk to you more about with that. That's quite easy to do, and you can run them all in the same app and everything. You can still use low voltage lights, even though that's 110 volt power, with a little transformer thing that goes in there, which is super easy to do. So again, lots of things. It just depends how much you want to tackle. The last thing I'll talk about is I see the busted solar path lights along the driveway. It's pretty common. We see that all the time. We try not to, as much as possible, put path lights in an area like this, because this is typically what ends up happening. You just end up getting run over. I'm a bigger fan of just trying to light the house so it really stands out. If you did want to put something on the driveway, I'm a bigger fan of doing something more like this. Now these ones are in the concrete. You don't have to put them in the concrete, but even if you put them on the grass, they go in the ground. They come 360 degrees if you want, but usually on a driveway we'll just black out these back two and you just have that light shining across. But you can put these back in the grass a little bit, or if you decide to put a little bed by the driveway, and continue maybe this look and just do a little bit of landscaping along there, you can put those in there and just have them shine across. They are a little bit more expensive because they do have to be in the ground. They're very durable. They can get run over. I typically tell people, unless you want to spend the money, don't bother, because most vehicles have headlights anyway, so you don't really need to highlight the driveway unless you've got something there to that you really want to make stand out. But I'm a big fan of trying to light this more so, and using these lights I really like for that kind of option. So again, I know it's a lot of info, but Dickie, I just wanted to lay it all out there for you. Let me know what you think of some of those ideas, and then we can kind of start working on a kit for you, or answer any more questions you might have.
Just another cool example. If you can see this top peak here, where we used a couple gutter mounts and just focused them in on that top peak, really turns out. Second story peaks, definitely something you want to focus on if you can get the lights up there. Definitely brings your landscape lighting plan to the next level. We'll take a quick look at the cottage here. Nighttime pictures never quite do it justice. I think the only thing we're missing that I would add here is on the front porch. We're going to put a little downlight there to highlight it, but I think the light in the two sides of the windows was nice, create some symmetry. We're just missing a little bit of a dark spot in the middle there, and then as we kind of go around the side, we only use 6 lights on this guy, which is nice, but we just kind of highlight it again around the side here. Just to give a little bit, and as it gets darker, you'll really be able to see the subtleties in the light. A little bit higher up is just tough to see right now, and then again by the entrance, we did the same thing over on this side, and I think everything turned out really nice. Very subtle lighting, but just enough to make it pop so that you can kind of see it from a distance. And then we'll show you the driveway here again as we get a little bit better light as it gets a little bit darker here. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got some great do-it-yourself landscape lighting tips. Now, please be sure to go to our website at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our how-to page. It's full of great resources, from our podcast to our video to our most frequently asked questions. And also check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually go now and get one of our premium quality uplights and a King Innovation Insta-Light, which is basically a battery pack now that allows you to go and run those lights and test them out on your property. Try it for 14 days. If you don't love it, send it back to us and we'll give you a full refund. And if not, you keep the light at a discounted rate and go and buy what you need for your project. So thanks again for watching. Please be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love your feedback, and have a great day.